from School of Rock and Media in Bradford. Today is Promote the Vote. The aim of Promote the Vote is to help reduce anxieties that first-time voters may have around voting and being at a polling station. This is a polling station at SORM, and it is actually a mock polling station to help people vote in an actual real election one day in the future.
So my name's Rob Mitchell. I'm a principal social worker for adults at Bradford Council. So there's a few thanks that I want to say today. Apologies if I miss anybody out in these thanks. I've tried to kind of remember as many people as I can, but if I do miss out some really good work, apologies, and shout at me, chip in if you feel that something needs to be recognised. The first thing that I wanted to say was a huge thank you to our MP, Naz Shah, our MP for Bradford West, who is not only a fantastic advocate for the city of our city of Bradford, absolutely speaks truth to power. But we wanted to say a huge thank you for today, for sponsoring this event and for arranging for us to have this committee room and the tour that we had earlier. The arranging of today has been really, really interesting, because on one hand you've had us lot from Bradford Council, who want risk assessments, support plans, we want task and finish groups about a visit to Bradford, and then on the other hand you've got the fantastic people at SORM, like Tony, who runs SORM, who's just like, let's just make this happen, let's just get down to London. So big thank you to Tony and all his staff at SORM. Ikram, but who up until a few months ago, I just knew him for his rugby skills and yeah, and he would an amazing rugby player if anybody saw him play rugby. But then, having got to know him on a professional level and seeing his contacts and how Ikram makes things happen, and again, what an ambassador for our city that we've got in Ikram. So, we just want to say massive thank you to So the university, Bradford University, are really important partners for us, the council and SORM, and the way that they've embraced Promote the Vote work and encourage their social work students to get involved in this absolutely vital piece of work. I won't go on too much about Promote the Vote because I know we're going to watch a video, but the dedication that the social work service at Bradford University have given to promote the vote and the time that they've dedicated to that so their students can get involved is absolutely brilliant. We've got some senior people here from the university today, so we've got Brian Mitchell, who's not that senior. Absolute rock star. And gives all the permissions, does Brian. We absolutely underestimate just how much Brian just kind of cuts through the red tape and gives permissions for people just to get on and do. And we've also got some. We've also got some esteemed guests as well, because we've got Robert Strachan, who's the leader of the social work service at course at Bradford University, and we've got Professor Peter Mitchell, who's a senior person at the university. And without getting the authorisation from very senior people at the university, we're not able to help the students deliver and promote the vote. So a massive thank you to you. Shout out to the social work students who've got involved in Promote the Vote work, completely embraced Promote the Vote. They absolutely get that we are a human rights based profession. Our work is to help people get access to democracy. We're not here to tell people how to vote. We're not really that interested in whether or not somebody does vote or not. That's entirely up to them. Our work as social workers is about supporting people to have access to democracy in the same way that we all experience access to democracy. And that has required some significant dedication and hard work from social work students who are on placement and are also churning out assignments, and our future generation of social workers in Bradford. The future is really bright, and we just want to say massive thank you to you. Thank you. Yeah. Most important people here today are the people who've been attending SORM and people who've got themselves involved in Promote the Vote because it's important to them. We have Ben, Fatima, Jasmine, Sid, Elliot, Caitlin with us today, who've come down from Bradford, who have all been absolutely integral to the work that we do around Promote the Vote, central to everything that we do, and have been absolute stars. So thank you very much. So I'll finish on this. Shout out, an extra shout out to Caitlin as well for the admin. That's a brilliant job. You did a really brilliant job. Thank you. I'm going to finish with this before I hand over to far more important people than me who can speak today. Jasmine's going to speak at some point. I just want to say, research has shown that when social workers have conversations with people with disabilities, a person with disabilities is 5 times more likely to register to vote. So the impact of a social work or a social care conversation with people is absolutely vital. One of the best things about the last council election, I'll remain neutral in terms of party politics, but one of the absolute best things that we heard about the election 2 weeks ago on the Thursday is that we had polling clerks and other staff that were working at the polling stations that were saying, yeah, it's kind of quite steady really, turnout kind of as we expect. But blimey, so many people with learning disabilities have been into Bradford to vote today. And that's testimony to everybody in this room. So thank you to all of you. I'm going to pass over to Naz Shah, MP, to say a few words, and then I think we've got Jasmine's going to say a few words as well. Okay, so thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Naz, local MP for Bradford West, and I'm also Shadow Minister for Crime Prevention. But first of all, how many of you, is it your first time you've come to Parliament? So there's not many of you who've been here before. It's a bit like Hogwarts, isn't it? I've been here 7 years, right, and I still get lost in nooks and crannies in this place, right? So, there's still things that I notice every single day in this building. So it's a huge privilege to be here. But I wouldn't be here without the people in Bradford West putting their confidence in me and voting for me. And there's, you know, this place is known as the mother of all democracies. And in this, to get people, even women, to be sat here in a committee room like this, and if you've never watched the story, you should do, about the suffragettes, it was a woman who literally threw herself under the king's horses to get us the right to vote. So the vote for me has huge significance. To have that right to vote, it's such an honour and a privilege to be able to vote and have a democracy. Because I've done lots and lots of work with other countries where people don't necessarily have the right to vote, where people, even when they have the right to vote, do they actually have the equality, the same kind of, the same platforms and the same kind of democracy. And the truth is that I don't think we have it like we have. And there's lots of things I can complain morning, noon and night about the Tory policies and about what Boris Johnson is doing, whether it's partying or whatever he's doing. But the truth is, in this place, it is a huge privilege to be here, for me, personally. But I can't forget, we can never take it for granted how hard it was to get the vote. And then you add on, so just a bit about me. So my career, if you like, started as a carer with young people with disabilities. So my mum used to care for young people with disabilities, and we had young people in our house with autism, etc. Then I went on to specialise with young people with challenging behaviour, or behaviour that challenged the system rather, and autism in particular. And I worked in residential care homes. So I've got a background which is steeped in learning disabilities. And in my family, it's become a bit of a family thing. So my brother and sister-in-law have taken somebody in who would have been otherwise potentially sectioned or gone into a care home, who now lives with them permanently. He's been part of our household for over 17 years. And my children grew up around young people with disabilities, and they still have, when they go to their dads on a weekend, we still have 3 young people who come to us. And my sister's also a carer, my brother-in-law more, but he's also part of our family. So in our family, we're very, very overly familiar with learning disabilities and disabilities as a whole, but more so with complex health needs and complex behaviours. And those young people, a couple of them we could probably potentially get out to vote, but others we wouldn't be able to. So I'm not unfamiliar with the issues that faces, and I'm also very familiar with barriers to services. So I'm a former NHS commissioner, so I've worked my way up in Bradford from being a carer all the way to where I am here. It's been a long journey, it's been an amazing journey, and I'm really, really grateful. But ultimately, this just, this nails it for me. It says what it does on the tin, if you like. It is just your vote matters. There's no other simpler way to put this. You can wrap it up in whatever sophistication you want, but the truth is, your vote matters. And often we as society have neglected to keep those people involved that really, really matter. And when I talk to people and I say to them, look, are you into politics? Nah, I'm not into politics. And to be fair, the first time I was asked to be a politician, I said, don't be daft. It's the dirtiest place and it's a man's world. And they said, well, if you're not going to get in it, who's going to clean it up? And that kind of like threw down the gauntlet to me. And the next day I thought, you know what? The guy had a point. He had an absolute point. So if you don't do politics, politics does you. Whether that's setting your fares. So, for example, the West Yorkshire Mayor has now set up a project for buses in Bradford and across West Yorkshire to be £2 for a whole day kind of, day rider thing. But we used to be day riders when I was younger and going on the buses all day. So sorry, it's £4.50, which is in line with London. And then there's £2 your maximum fare for any one journey. And those kind of initiatives are because we voted. Those kind of initiatives that happen are because we have some democracy and we find somebody who can listen to us. So I have a hidden disability, if you like, so I wear hearing aids in both my ears. And, I'm now discovering how to use T-loops and things. It might be really, really slight, but for me, it impacts on my everyday. And I've not talked about that publicly. This is the first time I'm talking about it publicly. But I know that it impacts on me, my hearing, when I'm in public places, when I'm in noisy places, and how to work out, or get the best of being able to hear what's being said to me, because I can't lip read. I can't use sign language, so that's one of my something that I might need to do in the future. But again, people have to have equality. Ultimately, the reason I joined the Labour Party were 3 things: fairness, equality and justice. Those were the three things. It didn't matter where my politics lied, because to be honest, I didn't really understand where my politics lied. All I knew was I want equality and fairness and justice. I'm somebody who left school at 12. You know, I had an unconventional upbringing to end up in the House of Parliament. So I didn't go to Oxford or I didn't even go to university. But I'm here because I fundamentally believe in people having access to justice and fairness and equality. That's it. Those are the principles of humanity for me. And you can't have that for everybody without anybody. You can't have justice and equality and fairness for women without women being a part of that conversation. You can't have justice, fairness and equality for people with learning disabilities without them part of the conversation. And if you're not going to get them engaged, then how can we say we're representing that community and we're reflective of that community and we're responding when we're making laws in this place, when we're going through the lobbies? How can we then, what gives us the right to say that we are the right people for you and we're making laws that will suit you? So we have to be told to listen. We need to listen more as politicians, because one of the things that always is said often is politicians are so far from the real world, and we need more representation. We need more people like us, because you're making something about us, you can't have it without us. And that applies to every single category of human being. And politics, and that's a Tracy Graebing point, I've just come back to it, if you have. So Tracy is doing all of that because she understands what the needs are of the community. And likewise, we need to understand the needs of people with disabilities. And then I say, things have changed. I mean, I can't even connect to half the things that my kids do. I've got a 15-year-old, an 18-year-old and a 10-year-old. And the way they use TikTok and the way they use Snapchat and all the rest of it, it's like a world away from me. You know, I'm trying to, Mubin manages my Instagram. It's a verified account, but I still don't know how to share stories properly and do all of that stuff, you know? And that's the truth. And again, every generation of people that are coming up, and young people in particular, have different needs. So what my understanding of learning disabilities and care needs was 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, might be completely different now. So I need to learn that, because life is about evolving, isn't it? Life is about keeping up with what people's needs are. And we can't do that without listening to you. And we listen when you vote. So if you don't like, we have got the privilege of voting, and if we use that vote, and I'm hoping that people will use that vote in the next general election and tell Boris to do one, but on a serious note, I'm really, very hopeful. But we've got that right, haven't we? We've got a democracy, we've got a system that isn't rigged, it's not corrupt, which in a lot of countries we don't have faith in the democracy, but Britain is the mother of all democracy. And to have you guys here is a huge, as much as you thank me, the actual honour is mine to be able to host you here, because it's important for people. This is your parliament. This isn't our parliament. This isn't my parliament. This is your parliament. Whichever sphere of life you come from, whoever you are, this is your parliament, because we are here because of you. So every single vote matters. I will throw my weight behind this campaign, which is why we were very, very happy to have you here, because it's an honour for us to be able to facilitate our communities that will vote for us in the future. And I'm hoping that the next general election or the next local election, we can probably do some more campaigning on the street, on the going out door knocking. If any of you are politically affiliated to Labour, I hope so. But if you want to come out, you feel free to come door knocking with us and talk to people. But if there's anything we can do, and my office can do, to support coming out into the college, into the university, or in spaces where, in your spaces, on your terms, then please do let me know. Be happy to help. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Someone disrespects and you feel that others saying it got to be the same feeling, equality. Your voice and your vote matters, because obviously some people hide. They don't know if they understand disabilities, or they're hiding it. So we want people to have their voice and listen. It's about equal, and it's about listen to both how you feel, and it's about equality, how they feel, because if you say this and that person, you're misjudging that person. So you have to work together as a team, as a family, because STORM is our family, and we want our voices to work together, and people who don't understand, we work together. There's different kind of methods that obviously, like if some people can't read, some people can't like write, there's different methods. I'm not on the keyboard, I can't write, and I'm very dyslexic, and I use the computer to speak to computer. And obviously I have these guys do different like skills, obviously for the vote as well, to understand. So there's writing, speaking, there's actually drawing, and then how to understand. But some, I'm trying. So it's how. Thank you. I want to speak it, but it's like I know what I want to say, but it's.
And you were saying we are the same. It's important to you, isn't it, about respect?
Yes,
Jasmine?
respect each other, because if that other person disrespects,
Yeah.
and you want the same respect, how are you supposed to both get it? Is how you feel, is that other person feels too. So if you want to listen to their voice, you have to listen to theirs too, because it goes equal way. And as well, we work together as a family. No one gets left out. Everybody gets treated. It doesn't matter if you've got disability, no arms, no legs, and nothing. We shouldn't look at people like, yeah, just leave them to it. Do something about it. Work as a team and like help them. And if someone doesn't know something, like not even a doctor knows everything. We don't know everything. So in life we learn experience. And then we tell other people, and then we can learn them. So basically.
Yeah, and you like this, don't you? Because this is about listening and speaking, isn't it?
Yeah, equality, your voice matters.
Yes.
Both sides, not one side.
Yeah.
Because some people think, oh, this, you can't say, there's no yes answer. There's always something there to move forward, a new page. So the vote matters because your voice and equality, and I think is you listen to each other and see what suggestions and stuff, help them to vote, then understand, because some people won't understand what vote is. I don't really know what vote is, but explaining and work together so some people know how to write and stuff like that, so we can actually go help them and work as a team.
Brilliant, Jasmine. Thank you.